Hi everyone, let's talk chatbots. 2023 has been a crazy year, and if you have anything to do with tech, you probably already feel overwhelmed by AI. Now, when I feel overwhelmed, I like to take one small step towards being less stressed. So what we're gonna do in this video is build the simplest possible chatbot, and let me tell you, it's way easier than you think. In fact, let me show you how to build a fully functioning chatbot in less than 50 lines of code using SvelteKit, LangChain, Vercel AI SDK. Let's go. As our first step, we're gonna initialize a SvelteKit project, go into the directory, install the dependencies, install additional dependencies, which is LangChain and Vercel AI SDK, and then open the project. Great. Now, depending on which template you selected, you should see a screen that looks something like this. Obviously, this is just a placeholder page, so let's work on that and replace the code. We are going to first create our front-end entry point, which is a page.svelte file. In this file, we're going to import useChat from Vercel AI SDK. This library allows us to abstract away some logic that we would have to otherwise deal with ourselves, like stream handling, appending messages, and loading states. So it's perfect for us because we want to keep it as simple as possible in our first example. As you can see, we can deconstruct some variables from the useChat function, which we then can use in our interface. Basically, what we're doing here is using a global messages store, which is kind of the chat history, iterating over it and displaying it on the front end. The second part of our front end is a form. We want to have an input where the user can type some text and send it to our backend through a submit function. Vercel AI SDK abstracts away all the logic. We just append the deconstructed variables and it's all good to go. Now after this you should see a screen like this. It's nothing fancy, but it works. It's an input with a button. If you type some text and press send, nothing happens yet. Why? Because we didn't build our endpoint. So let's move on to that. To build our endpoint, we're going to create a plus server TS file in the API/chat folder. The heart of this endpoint is a runnable sequence, which is a LangChain concept to take different puzzle pieces and modules of LangChain and fit them together into one logic. This might sound somewhat complicated, but it's actually not. Every step is just creating an output, which it hands to the next step as input. So starting the whole process are our messages. We take the messages we got from the front end, we're gonna parse them in something that is understandable for the LLM, which is a human message and an AI message. Now that the history is in a format that the LLM can understand, we pass it as input in our LLM, which is Chat OpenAI. Now basically what Chat OpenAI does is take the messages, make an API request, and bring back the response. Now if you look at the response itself, it's kind of a big JSON object with a lot of stuff that we don't need. This is where the next step comes in handy. LangChain provides us with some parsers that take the input from the LLM and convert it in a format that we can then use. Now, because we want to stream the result, we're going to use the bytes output parser. So now that we walked through the whole process, our stream is ready. So all that is left to do is pass it back to our front end. And that's already it. You just created a chatbot in less than 50 lines of code. Now, if you would like a more detailed explanation, I have a whole blog post about this, which I'm going to link below. Now, this is just barely scratching the surface of what you can do with all of these libraries and with chatbots in general. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video.